Thanks, Michael. Hey, Paul. Thanks for doing this. Good to see you as always. You played at the Azteca in a World Cup qualifier. You have that experience. What have you told the guys, or what are you going to tell the guys that haven't been through it yet? What are some of the challenges? And a second question, if I may. You're obviously a little depleted with Weston, Serginho out. Gio Reyna comes back in. How big of a morale boost is that? How is it going to help you guys on the field? Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'll start with your second question, Doug. Look, this team has the next man up mentality, and it's for any situation, for any club, country, it's always going to be hard to have everybody available for every single game, and this is just another case. And I have a ton of faith in the guys who are here and guys that are going to step up, especially in these games coming up. And secondly, yeah, obviously playing in Azteca is different. It's a different atmosphere. But look, I mean, the guys, like I've said before, there's so many guys on this roster that have played in just as bigger games than going down to the Azteca. So for me, there's not really much to say besides our mentality is to go down there and win, and that's what we're going to try and do.
And the altitude, Paul?
Yeah, altitude. I think. Look, it's for everybody. Mexico has guys that have to come in as well. So for me, I don't worry about it. I think, the coaching staff and the rest of the staff have done a lot to help us prepare. And we're ready for it, and we'll present ourselves and hopefully get the good result.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Next will be Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Thanks, Michael. Doug mostly took my questions, I'll admit, so I'm scrambling on the fly, Paul. But I realize you've addressed it somewhat, but I think in particular about some of the younger guys on this team, Eunice, for example, who by now has had some experience traveling on the road in CONCACAF, has seen a few things, is still, is gotten a taste of what things are like, is not going to see the Azteca sort of at full blast because we know the capacity is going to be restricted. But still, in ways, as we've seen throughout World Cup qualifying, some of these guys have not seen things quite like this before. Do you think that they have enough under their belts at this point? And other than that, I said Doug sort of took the question about the altitude and stuff like that. So apologies for scrambling on the fly.
No worries. Absolutely. I think a lot of guys, most of the team, most of us have been a part of World Cup qualifying. A few of us have been to the Azteca and played there. But to answer your question, I think we have a ton of experience, more than enough experience to go down there and to play. I mean, you look at the guys that are on the roster and the level that all these guys are playing at, it's incredible. I think this is just going to be another game for all of us, and one that, of course, is an away game in CONCACAF, which, often present themselves to be more difficult. But for us, it's just another challenge, and Mexico's just the opponent in our way, and we'll have to do it down there.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hey, Paul, thank you for doing this. When you look at the three games as a whole, is there any import or value put to try to get this done in the home game and get it clinched so you don't go to Costa Rica needing at least a draw?
Look, for us, it's about getting the maximum points as quick as we can. Our goal is to qualify, right? And for us, I think we plan on going down to Mexico to win the game, and then do it at home again, and then do it in Costa Rica, and by then, we'll be qualified. So for us, the mentality is to go, full throttle, no matter who's playing, have the right mentality, and we believe within this group that we can accomplish what we need to.
What have you learned from all these CONCACAF road games of what you have to do to try to combat the difficulties and why it is so difficult to play on the road in CONCACAF? Yeah,
it's a grind. Every game presents different challenges, the different atmosphere. the World Cup is on the line, and that intensifies the atmosphere, every single game. For us, I think it's just managing the crowd, managing the game, and at the same time trying to continue to implement our style and the way that we want to play, because at the end of the day, we do want to play the way that we're set up, and we want to do things the right way. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is winning.
Next will be Drake Hills from the Tennessean.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, Paul. Just wanted to ask you, given the ultimate objective, obviously you've mentioned it a couple of times, and again, it's obvious, but what factor does going to the Azteca first in this round of matches play in terms of what's at stake for you guys?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Obviously, one, you're playing your rival in their home country, and it's a place that they have a great record, right? Playing at home, they can be very successful there. So for us, it's there's a few things to manage. One is it's a rivalry game, which I don't think that we need any more motivation than that. Also we've had the better record of them as of late, and I think that's something that we want to continue. And lastly, we want to win and try and qualify for the World Cup as soon as possible, right? That's our goal, and we're not going to let that get out of our sight. But it should definitely be a good game for various reasons.
Next will be Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Paul. 4 years ago, going into the last window, I think the expectation was just, of course the U.S. is going to the World Cup. This time around, the external pressures around you guys feel completely different. There's like a fear that it'll happen again. I wonder how much you guys can sense that pressure or that fear from the fan base, from people outside of the group, and just kind of worry that it might happen again versus kind of what it felt like 4 years ago when the thought of missing the World Cup was probably not even in your mind. Yeah,
I think, look, for us, it's the fear is not sensed within the group, right? We're a group that's very confident in ourselves and our own ability, and the way that everything that is the national team right now, we feel very confident that we will qualify. But for us, it's not even just about qualifying, right? It's about winning games, changing the way people see the U.S. And at the same time, I think this game coming up against Mexico is a great opportunity for us to go out there and show that we're continuously growing collectively and getting better as a nation. I don't sense any fear within the group, and hopefully we have all learned from in this instance my experience of being a part of that team, and for others, I think they've learned from the past that we need to be better.
Next will be Daniel Nora from Univision.
Hola Paul, ¿cómo estás? Felicidades por tu primer gol en Dallas.
Gracias.
Quería preguntarte, como han hecho varios, por tu experiencia en el Azteca, pero ahora en español, porque no solo fuiste allí con la selección para la última eliminatoria, sino que con Tijuana fueron hasta 4 veces. Es decir, es un lugar que conoces muy bien. ¿Te han preguntado por esa experiencia en el grupo en estas horas en las que ya se han encontrado? Y si no te han preguntado, ¿qué les dirías de esas veces que estuviste allí? ¿Qué fue lo más difícil? ¿Qué es lo que más recuerdas? ¿No pudiste obtener resultados positivos en esas visitas previas? Y si para ti definitivamente es una motivación hacerlo ahora, y sientes que es el momento ideal para que Estados Unidos por primera vez lo haga en eliminatorias.
Sí, Daniel, estoy seguro que este es el tiempo para nosotros, para ganar allá en Azteca, ¿no? De visitante. Como dijiste, es un lugar que conozco muy bien, que es a veces muy complicado jugar ahí por varias razones. Pero primero que nada, la afición de México es increíble. Hay obviamente un estadio lleno allá en Azteca. Es difícil jugar en contra de un equipo así, pero estamos motivados, estamos confiados en en nosotros y estamos pensando solamente en este partido y cómo podemos ganar. La verdad no me han preguntado nada todavía de mis compañeros, pero no sé, les puedo decir que sí es una cancha, es un estadio muy histórico, pero queremos cambiar la historia entre los dos equipos.
We'll go to Emily Olsen from USA Today.
Hey, Paul, I'll echo that. Congrats on the first goal for FC Dallas. I wanted to follow up on Paul's question a little bit. There's obviously a lot of obvious differences between the team in 2017 and this one. But for you, as someone who was a part of both, what would you say the biggest difference that defines this team is from the last cycle that you were part of in World Cup qualifying?
Yeah, I think, Emily, it's a great question. Now the mentality is incredible from the group. It really is. The culture, the brotherhood that we have is something that I've always said it's even hard to find in club settings. So what we have is special, and I know that we're not going to let that slip away from us, and understand how special this moment and this journey has been together. That's really the difference. I think like I said, I can go on and on about different reasons, from the way that we're treated as players, and the mentality and the trainings and everything. I can say confidently that this group has learned from the past experiences of not just our own but others as well. I think that's really the difference.
Next will be Charles Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hi, Paul. I wanted to ask you about your memories of the last qualifier at Azteca when you played and took part in that kind of split squad that Bruce Arena did. What your recollections were of the prep for that trip to the Azteca, how that system worked, what your physiological sort of recovery was afterwards, and if it's possible to do something like that, or at least take lessons from that in these 3 match windows that kind of have their own different rhythm.
Yeah, I think. I do remember a bit of a mixed squad, and I remember it was really interesting. If I'm not wrong, I think we ended up playing a 5-2-3 to start the game, and it was a heavy atmosphere. It was very, very tough. I remember seeing the small amount of U.S. fans that were all the way at the very, very top. It was very tough, and I remember the mentality was, let's try and get whatever we can from this game. In comparison to that, I think now we're going down there to win, and that's a different mentality, and that's something that I think we truly believe that we can do is to harm this Mexico side and put ourselves at the best position possible to win the following games.
Is the recovery different in physical terms after a game at that high altitude?
To be honest with you, from a player standpoint, I'm not sure. These guys that are here, the support staff and the technical staff, they do literally everything they can to help us and prepare us and prepare us for the following game. Every single window, they're absolutely amazing. So whatever it may be, I have complete confidence in them.
Last question for Paul comes from Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Hey, Paul, I wanted to ask about Jesus Ferreira. I saw the other day even you saying that he's coming in and he's scoring at a good time. And going into this year, it seemed like a big year for him, and that, he gets the DP contract. He's playing in maybe a different role with Ricardo leaving. He's maybe got a little bit more pressure on him with Ricardo leaving. How do you think he's handled that and done with all that? And how do you kind of see him fitting in with this current picture, especially given his versatility?
Yeah, I'll say it again. Jesus is a very versatile player, right? He finds himself in so many positions during games. He can help the team in so many different ways, offensively, defensively. Throughout the first part of the season, Jesus has been great. He's the first few games he wasn't a part of any goals. But he continued to work. He continued to keep his head down. He continued to stay humble. And then he goes on and scores 3 goals in somewhat of 10 minutes. And, you know, you appreciate a guy like that to be your teammate, someone who's going to continually work. And when he gets his opportunities, he's going to put them away. And I think that's what he's done. And you know, like I said, he's been in great form. And, you know, hopefully that'll carry over for us going into these games.